Hi viewers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is HP Fashions GY. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning on how to cut and sew this beautiful kaftan dress with a tight waist or a free waistline. Okay, so I've folded my fabric into 4 and I'm taking the length of my dress. I'll be using all the length of the dress, which is about 60 inches long. Alright, so I've placed my tape at this point now to get the fitting at the knee side where the cowl bob will come from. Okay, so I'll be using length of 38 from the shoulder. I'll be using length of 38. Alright, so and I've drawn my chalk there. I don't know if you can see it clearly. Then I'll be using my sleeve wideness of about 13.5 inches wide or 14 inches. Okay, I'm using my sleeve wideness of 13.5 from the upper part. Then at this point now I'll be taking the wideness of the down part, the down wideness of the down part of my gown. I'll be using 18.5 wide. Alright, 18.5 wide. Remember the dress I have is a kaftan dress, so it has a shape at the down part. So I'll mark this 18.5 all the way. So once I get to that length of 38 where I marked my 38 line, I will just stop right there. Okay, so this is 18.5 wideness from the down part at this point. Right, so I'll just stop right here. Okay, so I'll just stop right here. Then afterwards I'll make a connection from this point now. I'll make a connection from this point to my sleeve point. Okay, so I'll make a connection from this point to my sleeve. I'll make a connection from this to my sleeve, a slant connection. Okay, so it has to be slanted. Yeah, it has to be slanted by all means, not having any other shape. So I will connect it to my sleeve point. Remember the wideness of my sleeve, I used 13.5 or 14 inches. Let's just say I use 14 inches. Okay, so this is what I did. I connected my down to my sleeve, that's to the 14 inches. Then I will stop right there. Then this is my shoulder measurement of 16, so I added a little allowance for seam allowance. Okay, 16 divided by 2 is 18. So I'm taking the sleeve length. This is actually my sleeve length. Alright, my sleeve length is about 19 inches from the beginning of the fabric. Then the wideness of the sleeve is about 14 inches. So this is what I have now for this. So I'll be taking my neck wideness. I'll be using the 15.5 for my neck wideness. Then this is it, that's 7.5.2. This is what I'll be using. Then that's little allowances for my joining. Okay, so the depth of the neck at this point now, I'm making do of 4.5. 4.5 depth. That's exactly what I'll be using from the front and the back. So I will just connect to that point. Okay, so this is what we have. So this little allowance there is for my joining. Remember the neckline is like an off shoulder, but it's not an off shoulder. So this is it. After taking the neckline out, I'll go ahead and cut the down part, take exactly the shape of everything, and that's it. So I've gotten my front and the back. I've gotten the front and the back at once. Like I said, I folded my fabric into 4. So at this point now, I'll go ahead and mark on the shoulder side where I'll be sewing. Alright, so I'm minusing my 7.5.2 to get exactly where I'll be sewing. So I'll be using 9.5. I added a little allowance on this. So this is where I'll be stitching. Okay, so it's just about 1.5.2 inches. Okay, 1.5.2 inches on both sides. All right, so This is it now. So I will not stop right there. I will just go ahead and fold my fabric into two to get the middle side for the waistline. You know, it has a tight waistline. From the middle, I'll be using the waistline of 16.5 because 16.5 is my half length. Okay, so I'll be using 16.5 for this, while I'll be measuring. This is actually my middle line, that straight line. From that point now, I'll be taking 6 inches from this side and 6 inches the other side. All right, so this is it. From the middle line, 6 inches to the left, 6 inches to the right. All right, so this is it. This is what we have now. So this is where I'll be attaching my rope. I'll be attaching my rope at the left and at the right. Okay, so I'll be going up by 1/2 inch up, 1/2 inch down. All right, 1/2 inch up, 1/2 inch down, because that's exactly how I place. So at this point now, I just got a little fabric that I'll be cutting out my rope from. All right, so I'll be using a wideness of 2 inches or probably 2.5 inches. After sewing, I should be able to get back my 2 inches. So I'll be cutting it all the way. I'll be marking it all the way up. Afterwards, I'll go ahead and cut this all out. All right, so this is it. So after this is done, I'll go ahead and get another one because it's meant to be 2. Okay, so after this is done, I'll also get the length of this rope to be sure that it will be able to round the waistline from the inside. Okay, so this is what I have. All right, so at this point now, I started joining. I'll be using my bias to turn the neckline for this. All right, so I'm actually using my bias to turn the neckline. I'll be using it to turn the 2 necklines for the dress. All right, so this is it now. This is what we have at this point for this. Then I'll go ahead and cut it all out, taking out the excess. Then I will top stitch it. Ensure your top stitching is actually very neat, because this sewing will actually the stitches will show from the front of the dress. So by all means, the stitches really need to be very, very neat. Okay, yeah, so this is actually one of it. We'll go ahead and top stitch. Go ahead and repeat the same procedure for the other dress, because the front and back are the same. So I've actually joined the other side. So I'll go ahead and stitch the shoulder, because I've already provided the measurements already. So I will just stitch the shoulder and stop at that point I provided. I'll stitch it very tight. All right, then take off the excess thread out. So I will stitch the other side of the shoulder at once. So this is it. Remember, while I was cutting it, I actually marked the measurements, what I'll be using to stitch. All right, so this is it. Okay, so I'll start from this side, stitch all the way to the neckline. Then I'll take off the excess thread all out. Yeah, so at this point now, this is what we have. So I'll go ahead and turn the sleeve, the opening of the sleeve. I'll go ahead and sew it. I'll fold it this way into 2. I'll fold it this way and top stitch. All right, your stitches need to be very, very neat. Okay, so it actually have an open sleeve, so that's the reason why we provided that little joining on the shoulder parts. All right, so we'll sew all the way up. All right, and the stitches need to be very clean. So once I get to that side that has a joining, I will just go ahead and fold my other side of the dress, turn my machine to the other side, then cross it to the other side of the sleeve, then turn and fold, then sew all the way down. Okay, so this is it. Now this is what we have. The stitches need to be very neat. Okay, so I'll sew all the way to this point. Yeah, then I will stitch. All right, so once that is done, I'll go ahead and make for the other side of my sleeve. All right, repeating the same procedure and sew all the way to the upper part of the shoulder. Then remember to turn your machine to the dress to the other side and give it a nice stitches. Okay, yeah, so this is it. Yeah, so this is what it actually looks like. It's actually a very easy dress, easy to make and all. So we'll just stitch all the way down. Yeah, and that is done. So I'll go ahead and take off the excess thread from the dress. All right, so at this point now, I'll go ahead and shape the dress. I'll just go ahead and sew the dress from this point all the way down. Okay, so I'll be using just wideness of 1/2 inch. I won't be using much. 1/2 inch is actually very perfect. So I'll just follow the shape of the dress and I'll just follow the shape of the dress, then sew all the way down. I'll actually do it for the two sides of my dress. I'll actually sew it for the two sides of my dress. All right, so this is what we have for the shaping of the dress. So after this is done, I'll go ahead and fold the sleeve wideness. Remember the upper part of the sleeve is actually open, so I'll start from there. I'll fold it into two. So while I sew, I'm able to fold. Okay, so this is what we have. I'll just fold into two. Once I get to that sleeve joining, I ensure I fold it very well. So after sewing and folding, after everything, don't forget to give your dress a nice press. Okay, of course I won't forget to give it a nice press. So I'll sew all the way to this point. All right, so once this is done, I'll have to repeat the same thing, the same procedure of folding on the other side of my sleeve. All right, so ensure your stitches are actually very neat, because the truth, what's the beautiful thing about making this type of dress is having a very neat stitches. Okay, so ensure to sew very neat. Make your stitches very neat and straight. All right, so this is what we have for both of the sleeve. Okay, all right, so this is it. Actually looking very fine already. All right, so I actually used 3 yards of the fabric, 3 yards of my fabric to make this dress. It's actually kaftan bubu, so it's meant to be actually free. All right, so this is it. So after this is done now, I'll go ahead and fold my down measurements, the down of my dress. I'll go ahead and fold it. I won't be folding much because I want my dress I want it long. I don't want it to be hanging on. That's why I use all the length of the fabric. So I'll just fold and sew the down part of my dress. So I'll just fold and sew. Yeah. So once that is done, I'll go ahead and fold my rope into two, seal up the upper part, then sew all the way down. Afterwards, after sewing, I'll just go ahead and sew all the way down. I'll be using a wideness of 1/2 inch to do this sewing. Okay, so I'll go ahead and sew the two. Okay, because it's actually meant to be two ropes, not just a single rope. Okay, so this is it. All right, so remember not to take too much, except you added extra allowance for that. All right, so this is what we have. I'll just use a wideness of about 1/2 inch to do the sewing of this. So once this is done, I'll go ahead and turn my rope all the way. I'll turn it up. All right, I'll turn it all up. Then after turning it up, I'll give it a very nice press before I go ahead to attach to my dress. All right, so I've actually ironed my rope and I'm actually attaching it right now to my dress. Remember, I provided the space for it and I actually marked it, so I'll just place it there and give it a nice stitch. All right, so I'm actually placing my left rope. My left rope will be actually facing right for me to stitch, then my right rope will be facing left. All right, it will be facing left for me to stitch. All right, so after stitching, I'll go ahead and take off this excess thread. So if you find this video very helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn up your notification button so whenever we post new videos, you get notifications. Okay, all right, so this is what it looks like. This is it. You can actually style it in the way you want, either with a tight waistline or and a slant neckline, or with this type of neckline and a free waistline. Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next time in my next video. Bye.